Okay, we're off to a slow start, but yeah. Good morning, Mojo. How's it going? I did look at the link you just sent. Well, you sent, yeah, at 6 o'clock. That's an interesting thing. Okay, when sprint status is open and status change to active. So I was working on this yesterday. The one test pass, the sprint is not null. Sprint deployment. Deployment of this? That would be hard. Um, I think it's at the point where we could use it. Deployment might not be a bad idea. I think we could use it to track it. It's just doing that work is there's a lot of it, and I don't know how to even tackle it. But that would be a couple of weeks of tinkering and figuring it out, I suppose. You think worth doing though? uh, well, I need to do it. I need to do it on this, right? And I have the intimate knowledge. It would be and I'd rather control tower start to take shape over that. Um, yeah, maybe we get the sprints running and then we build a sprint for deployment and talk about how we do the deployment. Three Raspberry Pis, guys. So infrastructure as code is the only way I'm considering doing that, right? Using Pulumi to push the projects, build all the pieces out. I think Pulumi is a good choice over Terraform or something like that. Pulumi is all .NET. Um, yeah, it's just sitting down and figuring out that piece, I suppose. Um, um, yeah. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Hopefully, you are enjoying Rider, or you get to enjoy Rider. I need to get Restream. I hope Restream works. Dang it. No supported channels enabled. I was going to try and get Restream. Yeah. I think because it's an open source, because the Godot, the GZ, blah, blah. Sorry, because the GD script plugin is an open source thing, I think it might be slightly behind. So yeah, get more, edit, remove channel, remove, view, no, edit, remove channel. I'm just trying to see if I can get, because as much as I like this plugin, it doesn't give me the chat thing. Twitch, authorize. Oh, it might work. Channel. Sorry, I'm just trying to get Restream working again. They changed their policies, that's why. They require an extra permission. That's why it wasn't working. Okay. But now I'm already streaming, so that doesn't work either. If you change my title, I'm going to be upset with you. Let's see. Oh, whoa. Does my stream say live with Restream now? Starting and completing. Yeah, because it didn't get control over that, but it did mess around with my Twitch one. So let's change that back. That's that. Save that. Oh, we got that. Okay. But it looks like it can get Restream bot working again. Okay. I'm going to leave it be for now. So the problem is that YouTube, with Restream bot, it allows me to join the stream, have the bot sit in both channels and relay chat either way, but I need them connected. So, yeah, that's annoying. And are you sorting out all those values? No, not right now. I'm sorting on the things I need to care about, the things that are going to change. Right this second. Okay. Well, the thing is, what you've got to do is, with this test, I'm validating that the sprint is updated so that that's not null, right? The status is updated and the start date is set as I expect it to be. The problem is when you can change multiple values in the same thing, do you validate everything? Because what if something else changes? You actually don't know that in the test. So right now I just want to worry about the scenarios I do know about and I mean this handler is update sprint status, right? So if something else has to change for the purpose of the sprint status, then I would reflect on that. What work is the update method doing? Update sprint status. Right now it's doing nothing. Yeah. Yep. Right now, that's the way it's working. In my mind, like 2 tests, some of that behavior testing, I wanted a lower layer. What lower layer? So we're gonna have a method on sprint, public void update status string status, and this is something I don't like doing, but GUID source user identifier, and that is going to do sprint dot. This is going to do status. Actually, status equals status updated by user identifier, and we're going to create the domain event. Yep, no worries, Dan. Thank you very much. Don't forget, by the way, Dan is now on YouTube, and a like, a share, and a subscribe is always helpful. Checking the properties as well as makes sense, and since its job is to populate entity from the DB as well. Yeah, so in this instance, let's go back there. We don't care about the stats, we're just saying it's updated. Thank you, online. Good morning. Unless that is automated. Hope you're well. It's manual. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. We've got a lot we need to do. So we're gonna have update status. So we can't validate that because this is an instance of a thing. That's the thing we return when we capture that when we call update, right? So we're capturing what was updated. So whatever we pass in as update is the thing we capture. This object builder is giving us the version that's currently in the database, the mock, so that when we call first to default on the mock repository, we get the data back as we expect, and then we're validating this. Now this is going to be tricky because we want control of the date and time. So that's going to be the messy part in a second. We're going to end up with time provider. So the sprint, we're going to call update status on. In the handler, the update sprint status. Still, I could. Hello, Fuel Snumble. How you doing? Good day. She's no to time. I'm not pointing no to time. And besides, I don't want to mess around with that interface. .NET has the time provider. I can just inject the time provider. So we're going to pass that in. Update status takes a string status and then a command dot source user identifier, right? We get the statuses updated. We get that. No other time provider. This is messing around with time provider is a new world for me. I don't normally do it, so but I do need to control this date and time, and I'm not injecting some self-abstracted service. No other time is at this point a big library, but I do not believe no other time testing. You still need to inject call concepts. Why is that bad? Yeah, I get that. What I was actually looking for. So why is that better than datetime offset? So no other time is a library created by John Skeet that actually, it's developed by John Skeet, but it's based on Joda time, which is a Java version of that, right? And it's just a more comprehensive library for datetime stuff than the .NET built-in stuff. And in this instance, what I need to do is I need to say, okay, I want to control the expected start date time, right? So whatever this is, I want to set it, and I want to be able to validate that that is what's set when I ask for the update. So, and in the past, I would say, is it within 2 seconds of now? But that's not really. Yeah, it's a more comprehensive library. It's widely accepted. So if you need to do a lot of stuff with date times and stuff, I do know I did know Node time existed, and I do know that it is well respected because it is a very deep library. But I think it is based off Joda time. Yeah. Gotcha. More precise daylight savings transitions. There you go. Node time exists for .NET for the same reason that Joda time exists for Java. Inadequate handling of dates and times. Well, date, time, and types are actually easy to use than the Java counterparts. There's no such concept of a date and time in a specific time zone, for example. Right, so it's better representation. He is a super smart guy. But we don't need to go to that length. But what I am considering here is time provider, right? Because I just don't like that. And I don't think there's an I time provider. Nope. That feels janky, right? Now, the problem is that there's an implicit rule in here Yeah, I understand the I understand the impact here because the what I want to do is I want to have control of the dates and times I'm setting to know that it's giving the right thing, which is why I'm using the date time provider or the time provider. Yeah, um, I know it's a really freaky concept for Schnabel, and I don't think it'll ever catch on, but we're gonna try. Yeah. And I've been there. And again, what I could do here is I could say, is the start time within 5 seconds of the current UTC, right? Ta-da, fixed. Now the problem here that I do have is actually one of the database storage, I think, and the way I offset things. I need to check that first. Subscribers. No, this. Okay, that'll work. That still works as long as I store UTC. So this is necessary, right? I publish everything as a date time offset, and I set these explicitly as being UTC because the database does not capture the time zone. So whatever date time I send into there is that. So that when the client right now, when the user, the client side starts a sprint, we actually send up the UTC date and time from the client. So we're sending the time adjusted for the user's time zone. That means that we're only ever storing UTC in the database, and then everything will work relative. In this instance, we're doing that, so we can store. We don't have to do anything special. We just need to capture UTC, and it will naturally offset to when the user did it. So, but again, you can start to see the tangled web I'm weaving by trying to screw around with date and times, and how dangerous it starts to get. So there's a rule in here. That's the thing that I don't like. Or there's a behavior in here, but the rule should be in there if. So basically, it is if status equals active. That's useful. That should be UTC now, right? Now the problem with that obviously is no time provider. So I've got to do UTC now there. So how do I do that without putting a dependency down into the update status? That's the messy design. This already feels horrible. Wrap UTC now. Yeah, that's what the time provider is. Well, that's what time provider does, right? So in here, if I inject time provider, I can say time provider dot get UTC now, right? And that will give me that. And then in my test, I can inject uh, fake time provider. I think it is. There's a version of that, right? Oh, of I don't think I even need to mock it. I think I just need to create a new instance of it. No, there's an actual structure for it. There's an actual structure for it. Time provider, C#. Abstract class. Yeah, fake time provider. Microsoft extensions time testing. And they've moved that. No. The package is extensions time provider testing. But the name is Microsoft extensions time testing. Whatever. Yeah. So we have an idea. We have a fake time provider, right? So we can do fake time provider. Is it? Yeah. Var time provider equals time provider dot set UTC now equals, yeah. So if we do new date time, new 2021 10 1 10 0 0, I believe we should just be able to feed that as expected there and then just send that in there, right? So now we are controlling the date time. So we're saying UTC now is what will feed back is this value, right? So, but that isn't the challenge. The challenge is now technically, this needs time provider. So this is my aggregate, but now I have to feed dependencies into it. I mean, this is a weak kind of dependency, but it's not. It's just another piece of data to the actual message. But now to get it here, I have to do that. So it gets a little bit like, what is a nice pattern here? Well, you can't put in the constructor for sprint because that's the object constructor. Family Geek, good afternoon. Hope you're well. Oh. Isn't the lifetime of time provider not the method call? No, I do not believe. I mean, you could, to remove the dependency, you could do something like this. Func date time. You could do that, right? Where you just say, or even better, right? You could do that. Hey, Black Arrow, how you doing? And that way, from here, the very worst, that's time provider.get UTC now, right? What's that not liking? Oh, it's a date time offset, not a date time, which is fine. It means that we don't put a We don't put a class dependency down. We just say, oh, you'll give us a function to tell us something. So rather than, the problem is that it wants a datetime offset, right? So we need datetime. That's fine. So we're not passing a class dependency down. We're just saying, you'll give us something that'll tell us UTC. You'll give us something that'll tell us the time, right? So current datetime. I don't like just feeding time provider in there necessarily. It just doesn't feel right to provide a class dependency inside of a method into the aggregate essentially. Doing good, Black Arrow. Doing good. Just trying to figure out a bit of a design quirk. Constructor of what? The sprint? Well, this is initialized by the database. This constructs itself. So I'd have to put a time provider in every. This is essentially the aggregate. I can't put those dependencies in there. That's okay. Yeah. So this at least means that I'm still in control. I don't pass a time provider dependency inside of an update status. I just say, oh, by the way, here's how you calculate your current date time. Is it nice? No. I'm not creating. I'm not using the create here. I'm loading it out, and it gives me an instance already prepared. So, yeah. But you could argue that being on what I'm doing, you need a domain service to handle it. The domain service doesn't change that. A domain service doesn't change this. It just moves it around. Because a domain service is just going to move this behavior into a service. So, but the idea is that the idea of having these methods the way they are is that I can't just set the data on the aggregate, right? If I provide the ability to set the data on the aggregate, then I'm mixing and matching my design a little bit more. Well, they're not. It's not static. It's these are instance methods, but there's a static create because you can only create one given certain data, and then these fields are all protected. So when you ask for one from Entity Framework knows how to construct it and create an instance for you, because Entity Framework will do that. It will call a private constructor. It'll populate the data. So you get an instance back out. But you want to, the idea is as well, I'm triggering events based upon changing the status. So I don't want, this logic can't be outside of this class. Otherwise, then I put the dependency on triggering the domain event into the domain service or into the handler. If I was triggering other domain events, then I'd definitely move it into domain service. Like if there was other domain events that mattered as part of an overall thing. The lifetime of sprint is short. Yeah. Yeah. In this case, it's loaded. We update it, and then we're done, right? Right. So that gives us that.